Mic check, mic check, mic check. As we say hello and welcome everybody to the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway, the last great Coliseum here for the ARC Pro iRacing Series here for Week 3, Season 7. Once again here from the last great Coliseum. Hello, my name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator for tonight's race. No Matthew Prochatsky up here in the booth for tonight's broadcast, as he could not make it tonight with some family stuff. So it'll just be me up here. Here to call the last great ticket 150, but obviously an exciting, coming off the foot of an exciting race last week as Joseph Madigan in that number 66 machine got his first win of the season last week from the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway and in a green white checkered last dash finish there. So we had a really fantastic race there at Daytona where Noah Brown eked out the win there by under a tenth of a second there. And then you look back at Homestead where Joseph was able to drive his way back up to the field to get his first win in the season. And now we come here, the last great Coliseum, this high banked half-mile track here in Bristol, Tennessee. And obviously one of the, the mainstays here on the NASCAR's calendar here. Just, so many memories have been made here. So many iconic moments here from Bristol. You talk about the bump and run from Dale to Terry Labonte. You talk about, Kyle Busch here, how much he dominated the battle that he had with Kevin Harvick in 2020, I believe that was, where Kevin barely eked him out. And you talk about all the great memories we've had here. You look at Matty D, almost got his first career win here in the 95 Levine Racing number 95 machine, right? Obviously, Denny Hamlin eked him out there. But just so many great memories here as we get ready to go trackside here. To take a look at some of your fastest drivers tonight here in practice. You see 8 minutes left here in practice here. We'll go down and take a look at some of your fastest drivers. Right now, it is the 51 of Ty McIntosh. That HVTV machine. Top of the board there. And what a way to do it. Ty hasn't been able to run full-time, from my recollection, here in the ARC Pro Series, but obviously ran full-time 2 seasons ago, was part-time last season in the last AWC era of this league, and now ARC is, I believe, his first race here in the Pro Series. And you look back to Matthew C. White, one of the fastest drivers last week from Homestead, came home P2, bridesmaid. Now he sits P2, bridesmaid once again here in practice, looking to build that momentum out of Homestead and trying to bring the speed into Bristol in that bright blue and white Valvoline machine. Really, really nice looking car for him. You look back to Jamie Ryan, the 89, one of his first starts here in season number 7, looking for a good run tonight. Jackson Jones has shown some flashes here in these first couple of weeks. He sits in here P4 in practice here. Looking back, Ace Throckmorton in the 72 machine. He's shown some speed here, and obviously you look at this, this looks like a short track, like a dirt car. This looks like a track that Ace would be very good at, right? These, get your elbows out, these rhythm tracks. I don't know a lot about Ace, so we haven't really seen him race a whole lot. Obviously, he's one of those ARC guys, I believe, who came over with the merge, so really interested to see what Ace can do. And then you look at Richard Cheery. He came in here, and he's just a new time guy. Just signed to the league, just registered today, right? Reached out to the admin team and said, hey, I really like what this league's doing. I really like the broadcast. I like all that stuff. Can I join? Obviously, we've seen Richie here on the O2O Premier Series, and he's, had a good handling for himself here. He sits P6. Looking back to Fidel Fabian, leading the points, and we'll look at your points here in a minute or so here. And that Casita Caliente 40 machine had a phenomenal start of the season for that 40 machine. Cole Wilson makes his first start here in Season 7 of the ARC Pro Series. He had a pretty good run last season with his teammate, Matthew White. And they went back and forth for a couple of those race wins. And Cole showing up to Bristol here. And then Javier Soto on the 95. I believe this might be one of his first starts here in Season 7. He jumps out here in that number 95. He rounds out your top 10. Go ahead and show that your fastest drivers right now here in practice. They're on the left side of your screen. Well, we get the opportunity to. We'll go on board with our kind of race reporter here, Diego Acuna, and this number 84 machine in the Madden 27 scheme. Take you around a couple laps here around the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. Currently sits P17 in practice, sitting right behind the 18 of Ryan Ronnebaum. Couple laps around the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. We'll take a step back real quick as we talk about your race points here for tonight's race. Coming into Bristol, obviously a big change, and a huge shout out to Delta Designs for finally being able to partner and get our graphics up to par here with what we were used to seeing here. But you look right up towards the top of the board, we talked about Fidel. Top of the board here, only 1 point lead over the 65 and Noah Brown. Obviously, Fidel hasn't got that win under his belt yet, but Fidel did, right? He won, another crown jewel in that Daytona 250 in week 1. Not the best homestead, but, he got so many points from winning in that week 1 that he was able to hold on to that P2 and points only 1 point back. You look at Michael Walls back there in P3 and striking distance, as well as Travis Van Oostendorp back there in the 16. Joseph Smith, my apologies, back there in 5th alongside Jimmy Cocker, Matthew White, and Dane Cruz, all within 15 points of the points lead coming into Bristol. Looking further back here, outside the top 8, Joseph Madigan. That win really got him in a good spot there. He's 1 point above the cutoff, and you look at it, Oscar Enriquez, Bryson Bird tied there for that kind of wild card spot there. Enrique Cucalone right there. In 12th there. And then you look further back here. I think Grace maybe got the points a little bit mixed up here. You look at Matt Steiner back there in 13th. 14th goes to Randy Payne. AJ Nickel, his first start here in the HVTV era. Back there in 15th, Luke Allen rounds out the top 16 for tonight's race here for the last great ticket 150 here from Bristol Motor Speedway. Just under 3 minutes left in practice. We'll continue to look at some faster drivers here as we go look at Fidel Fabian here. He sits in pit road. And so many drivers showing up tonight's race. I see 42 right now on track. Aaron Evans, one of the drivers rounding out the field here. Look at it, Carlos Acosta in 02. Has shown a lot of speed these last couple of seasons here. Now he sits 40th in practice. Need a little bit more speed out of that 3Y TV machine. That O2 continuing to run laps out here. But it looks by the base of it, like that top 5 hasn't really moved a whole lot. And Fidel, back to Fidel. He's still sitting in pit road there. Look at Bryson Bird in his 53, that Firebird Motorsports. Him, Wyatt Roberts, and I believe Dane Cruz in that 87. One of those Firebird machines as well. So look for them to be up there. Obviously, interested to see how Wyatt's going to do here. Let me see. Wyatt, it is on the speedway here. It's currently 36th in practice. Obviously, I felt like these short tracks were one of his better suits here, but obviously needs to find a little bit more speed here in this 42 machine. We'll see Wyatt running the NWP 400 duels this Monday here on the IDK Player YouTube channel. High Velocity TV will be partnering with IDK in our studios, if you want to call it that, to put on that production there. As we've been partnering with John for a while here. So I'm happy to see him. Happy to be partnering with him in one of those big e-tickets here. But you see Wyatt Roberts having a stroll down here in the garage here. See if we can find where he's going. Looks like he's trying to maybe play tag here in the infield with another car. I wish iRacing honestly would have this for every track where you can just go around and hang out and you see that Fidel. I mean, you see Joel Farlow. I think this is his first time start here in that 24 as well. So Joel, someone to look at here. Hopefully his blinking issues has gone out of the way there. But we'll get ready to get into qualifying here from Bristol. Qualifying's going to mean a lot, especially here from Bristol. Because, I mean, we have, 42? I think we had 44 cars show up tonight here for the ARC Pro Series race. And you have to talk about track position, right? If you start outside really the top 25, it is going to be a pain in the behind, to say the least, to get up through the field here. And if you're like outside the top 25, top 30, I mean, you're at risk of, going a lap down within the first, 20, 25 laps probably here from Bristol, because it's just hard to pass. And if you're stuck behind slow guys, it's just you just put yourself in a really bad spot here. Right on board with Brett Puncari. He starts his second lap here. It's really loose out of turn 2. And I back it down. Currently top of the board. Bryson Bird. Go to Brett Bennett. He's coming out to start his first time lap here. Brett Bennett, I believe his first start of the season here. This 06 machine, obviously an AWC regular. You'll see him down here in the 1 and 2. Going to run the bottom. First lap for Bennett. Put him up in the P10, 15.255. See Matthew White, top of the board there, 15.089. Bryson Bird just 100th off there in that 53 machine. And further back there to Joseph Smith in the 31. Brett Bennett up to P4, 15.135. Really good lap for Brett. Continue to look at and monitor some of these drivers here. Matthew Chastain. His first time lap there in the 75. Patriotic scheme for Matthew. First lap for him. First time lap, actually, is going to be a 15.3. Good enough for P23. Someone I want to look at here is this 51. Ty McIntosh, your fastest in practice. He comes out of pit road there in that Kyle Busch inspired HVTV car. Really nice looking scheme for Ty. You did telemetry on the left side of your screen here. First time lap for Ty. Up and outside wall. I don't think that's going to count for a lap time. You see him run the top there. I think this is going to be the only lap he's going to get. 15.6 first lap time for Ty, but got that outside wall. We'll see what he runs here. Looking like he's in the green here. Out of 4. Ty with a 15.04. And that's top of the board there for the 51. Ty McIntosh top of the board, and he clears the field by half of a tenth. Good lap for the 51. Look back here to Diego Acuna and the 84 that looked at his car, that Madden 27 Toyota Supra. You see him loose here at a turn 4. Gonna have to try something better here in lap 2. 15.8. That's good enough for 42nd. I don't know if we're gonna have bump day here, but if there is, Diego's gonna have to have a little bit of a better lap here on the second lap. Out of 4. A little bit of an improvement. It'll bump him up to P30. So that should lock Diego into the event. Joseph Madigan out on track. Last week's winner. Joseph across the stripe here. 15.95. They need something better here on lap 2. Currently P39 here for the 66 machine. And a very big improvement there. The P3, 15.096. Very good lap for Joseph there. You see 30 seconds left in qualifying. Everybody tonight, all 44 cars have set a lap time down. And I don't know if we're going to have a bump there. Obviously, I believe it was 42 cars. We do have 44, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just let those two drivers race. So that's going to be Brett Pincari, Ace Throckmorton, someone I thought was going to be really competitive here in qualifying. He rounds out the field there. Not the best qualifying lap, but you see, look, your top 10. McIntosh, Wyatt Madigan, Bird Wright, Smith Bennett, Cocker Cucalone, and Ronnebaum, your top 10. Is qualifying underway and out of the way here. Ty McIntosh will get your pull. He'll get those bonus points for tonight here from Bristol. See the lights on and illuminating this bright track surface here. Night racing here from the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. We say hello to David McGuire up here in the chat. Ben on LN. Payne on June on Aiden. So here we go. Most of our drivers out on track here. We got a lot of drivers to get through, so we're going to go ahead and get our unofficial starting grid here. Try to get as many as we can here out of the way here. Your starting grid here. Ty McIntosh, top the board there alongside Matthew White there in that 28 machine. Around that row 1 alongside Joseph Madigan and Bryce Bird, row 2. You'll see in the 89, I ride alongside Joseph Smith. That 31 machine, Brett Bennett. And Jimmy Cocker back there. Your top 8 and your top 10 will consist of Enrique Cucalone and Ryan Ronnebaum there, your top 10. Going back to the top 20, Wyatt Roberts and Robbie Throop in that 66 machine, Randall Payne and AJ Nichols, your top 14. Look back to Dane Cruz and Richard Cheery, your top 16. Ian Jesus and Javier Soto, 17th and 18th, and your top 20 will consist of Jake Scarborough and Brett Bennett there in that 06. Right outside the top 20, here will be Tyler Watermullen and Preston Selman in that 32 machine. Matthew Chastain, Jackson Jones, your top 24. Alexander Levi, Andrew Stafford will be your P25 and P26 drivers. Joel Farlow, Cole Wilson, your top 28. And rounding out the top 30 tonight, here from Bristol, Oscar Enriquez, Jake Richmond in that 71 machine. Looking for the back outside the top 30, it's going to be the 31 of Diego Acuna, Luca Turcati, Fidel Fabian, and Carlos Acosta, your top 34. Matt Steiner, Jacob B. Davis, 35th to 36. Noah Brown, Aiden Neese, rounding out that row 19. And the top 40 will consist of Nathan Caldwell, Shane O'Neill, and that number 91. Looking for the back here. Drivers who did not make the race tonight, I believe. Daniel Pugh, Aaron Evans, Brett Pincari, Ace Throckmorton. Out early here from Bristol. So it looks like they did take the top 40 drivers tonight, which is, it sucks, but, that's the way that the cookie crumbles sometimes here. We'll take a look here at your race weather here from Bristol Motor Speedway. Look at 73-degree air temp, 74-degree track temp. So a great night of racing, mostly cloudy, 94-degree humidity. That's a lot here from Bristol. Obviously, it's been raining here in the Midwest, so not something I'm opposed to seeing here. I mean, I've been used to the rain for this last couple of days here. But we'll get ready to go 150 laps here from the last great Coliseum, the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. It'll be a Ford Chevy front row. It'll be Ty McIntosh, Matthew White. You'll see the virtual pace truck potentially pull down pit road here. No. See him stay out one more time here. I saw the lights off on the pace truck. We'll do one more pace lap here before we get ready to go green here. And man, what a sight to see here. See 40 drivers showing up to the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. Elbows out racing for 150 laps here for tonight's race. And I cannot wait to see how the racing comes about here. Looking further back here. Look at this big gaggle of cars here that showed up. Oh, these are borderline superheroes coming out here. Gonna put it on here. Put the helmets on. Tighten the seatbelts. We'll get ready to hand the race over the barn to the flagman for 150 laps here from Bristol Motor Speedway. Back across the stripe for the first time. Gonna be the 28 and Matthew C. White. He takes the charge here early from Bristol. Caution out early. Looks like Recchi towards the back of the pack here. The 25 of Aiden Neese, one of those Arctic Esports drivers. Joel Farlow, another Arctic driver. Turn around backwards here. A quick look here on the HVTV replay. We talked about attrition, keeping the car clean. This is not a great start here to the start for some of these drivers. Maybe the 00 in Jesus, maybe show us a little bit of a better picture of what happened here. This looks like the 00 caught the apron there, got loose. Nowhere to go for some of these drivers. The 27, I think he got a little bit of netcode contact. The 4 involved, the 21 involved. And caution will wave here on lap 2. And this is the danger of having to qualify towards the back of the pack there. You get stuck back there with the carnage, with the chaos, with everything else that comes with being in the mid pack here. Look at drivers further back here. Joel Farlow, he won last season from Bristol. And he's going to look like he's got a lot of damage on this number 24 Ford racing machine. He's already 3 laps down here early in the race. Lots of drivers down pit side here trying to get some services to their car done. To the 00 right there. Of Ian. Trying to lip that car around. Obviously the cause of the first caution tonight there, getting loose on the apron there through turn 2. Not the start I think Ian wanted there out of that 00. I think I see some smoking out of that 00. They're just going slow enough. I don't think you can see it that well. But you look at that. Further back here, some fast drivers getting caught up in there. You see Diego, nowhere for him to go. They're going to try to race the pace car off of pit road here. Looks like not a lot of damage here for this 84 machine, luckily. Further back to Oscar Enriquez, that BRN Toyota Camry. Toyota Supra, my apologies. They try to get back up to speed here. We should be getting around the one to go here, up here for our leaders here. So, obviously, we saw the lead change already take place here. Ty loses that lead, loses P2 as well. So it'll be Matthew White and Joseph Madigan. Will lead us back to green here once we get the green flag. Get a 28 and that 66. Your last week's winner and last week's runner-up. Back in the Echo Park restart zone, and Matthew C. White back to the green flag. And a really good jump out of that 28. See further back there, still side by side. But P2 looks like the 66 of Madigan will get clear as he tries to put the charge here to this 28 machine. Is it right? Oh, almost wrecking in the back there. A huge wreck in the back. Caution will leave one more time. Oscar Enriquez caught up in another one. Charlie Bennett, no one involved. Needs to get that thing turned back around there before he goes laps down. And another wreck here early here from Bristol. I imagine this probably happened in front of Oscar. See if we can ride on board here with this 56. Yeah, it's already a parking lot up here. And nowhere to go here for a lot of these drivers. We'll look at maybe the 01 of Charlie Bennett. It looks like he was up here in front of this big wreck. It looks like the 87. Maybe of Dane Cruz. Gets the bumper put to him by the 32 machine. And nowhere for anybody in the back here to go. You see Jake Scarborough around. And lots of drivers just nowhere to go here. like the bunch of drivers here. I'm trying to figure out who that 32 is. I don't see a 32 number here on the track, so obviously, I mean, put on the wrong car on accident. We'll have to figure out who that 32 is. Obviously, a newer driver here to the field. Look at Ducati back here in P26. You know, Brown there. That Biffle-inspired 65 number. If we can go over to our trusty spotter guide to see if we can find who that 32 machine is here. That HendrickCars.com stream. Preston Salmon. They're in the 32. So there is a 32. I just couldn't find him. He's here in 17th. So he gets in the back of Dan Cruz, and Dan Cruz goes around in front of basically the back half of the field there. For our second caution of the night here on lap 12. I'm not going to say this wasn't expected. It's, the last great Coliseum. It's Bristol Motor Speedway. You expect, some beating and banging. You expect the bumper to be used here. But obviously, there's 150 laps into tonight's race. Hopefully, we can calm it down a little bit, be a little bit more cordial, be a little bit more patient. Because you're not going to be able to make passes when everybody's up all over each other, right? You got to be a little bit patient. Let the race, string out a little bit. Then you can make those moves if you maybe are stuck in the back. Like maybe, like Dane Cruz in the back, Cole Wilson, right? Oscar Enriquez, those drivers who are quick. You can't be impatient here at Bristol. That is just a recipe for disaster. Say hello to more of our live chat. Jacob B plays here for Jacob Davis. Hi, Mac on pole. Heck yeah, Wolf Gaming. That's awesome. Rooting for Joseph Madigan, Wyatt Roberts. Some more Wyatt Roberts fans in the chat. We say hello to T-Tops, Golden Sniper, Sarah Haley. We say hello for the live chat. Continue to interact with us. We'll try to get to you when we can here. Obviously, only me in the booth. We'll try our best here. When you see the pace truck down pit road, Matthew Wyatt back to the stripe. Another good jump by that 28 machine. But Joseph Madigan able to get clear a lot easier this time by. He's going to go to the middle lane, trying to build some momentum here through 3 and 4. Not able to make anything work. You see further back here. Ty McIntosh trying to hold on as here comes the 89 of Jamie Wright. Trying to make the move here on the 51. He's going to look to the bottom side. See a side-by-side battle here for P4. Ty trying to hold on, trying to use that momentum off the top side. He's going to get a little bit of help from Joseph Smith. Here comes Joseph to the top side here. See, still side-by-side for the back here. Jimmy Cocker behind this battle. Battling with Brett Bennett in that 06 BRN machine. Jimmy Cocker, that Virginia Tech machine we've been familiar with here with that 11. They stay side by side here for P number 6. See a slow car there. That's the 4 machine, I believe. Jacob B. Davis getting out of the way. 11 laps down. Really classy move out of Jacob. Get out of the way. Of the race leaders here, we see further back here, Enrique Cucalone, right outside the top 10, trying to drive his way up through the field here. Thorpe and that Outback machine gonna make the spot up here. He puts himself at the P11. Enrique down 3 spots where he started. He's to find a little bit of a rhythm here. I think we're starting to get a little bit spread out here. A little bit, the patience starting to wind down here, right? Wrecking in the back as I said that. Caution will wave. The 32 car involved in another one. I think Preston Salmon, I don't think that one was his fault this time. We'll take a look here. Caution will wave. We saw that 14 hooked up in the outside wall. Look here, further back here off of our chopper cam. Did a 32 there, running the top side, trying to build some momentum. I mean, the 14 thought he was going to be clear. Unfortunately, not. No. Matthew Chastain, definitely the hardest hit for him out of that pack. Chastain, I think that's probably race ending there for that night. 75, there's nowhere to go here. We're right on board here with the 75. Going on. This will happen here. And there goes the engine for that 75 machine. I believe so did the 65 and Noah Brown. I think the Noah Brown also blew up there with that contact, and that's huge. Noah Brown came in here P2 in points. And it looks like his night's going to be over here early from Bristol. That's huge. Second in points, out early here on lap 24. It could be Davis getting his laps back here. Getting a lap back at least. There you see him 10 laps down. I don't know, maybe if he blinked out or if that's damage induced, but you see him at least get a lap back. I see some other drivers that are a lap down. I don't know if they are from damage induced. I think maybe he just got the lucky dog there. Because he was probably the only eligible car to get the lucky dog potentially. Look back forward here to Jake Scarborough. Everything's following. Available August 28th there. I'm not very familiar with this. It's like this. Looks like a vocal group potentially. So go stream that August 28th, I believe. I always love these music inspired schemes. I'm someone who does run a music car in my own right. So Bonnie Mullen coming back around here. I don't know if they're gonna let him get that back. As he's gonna stop here. He's gonna get a black flag if he tries to take those spots back. So you're gonna have to go to the back of the field here. He's gonna, I believe, be trapped a lap down. He will. Back up front. Gonna be Madigan, and it's gonna be White. I believe White picked the top here. I don't think Madigan took that spot away, so it's gonna be Matthew C. White back to the power. Now Madigan with the jump here on the start. He'll take us to green. A green jump by the 66 here out of turn 3 and 4. He'll lead us to lap number 28. You're already seeing early here. Side by side, starting to be a little bit more aggressive. You see some battling for the back here. God favorite Wyatt Roberts here. Back here, trying to work his way into the top 10. Trying to get around the 18 and Ronabomb. You see Ronabomb really sideways out of turn 2. Out of turn 1 and 2, you see Wyatt kind of just backed out of there. Let the 18 hit the space he needs to. He said, I'll go get you later. I don't want to put myself in a spot to get wrecked here early in race here. And we're not even a third of the way done tonight here. You see that 18 just really driving it in off a quarter exit. See White, he's going to look to the top side here. This 18 machine. Ryan will leave him the room. So side by side further back here for P10. Eighteen's trying to drop back there. Robbie Thrupp make the pass there for P10 as well. So 18's trying to drop to the field here. Looking further on up here. Ty McIntosh trying to hold on to P5 here. He's got a rear view full of this 31. Joseph Smith. Joseph showed his nose. The 51 said, hey, I'm clear. I'm going to take the spot here. See Joseph moving around the track. They're going a little bit higher. They get the crossover here through 3 and 4 side by side in the 1 and 2. See both drivers a little bit upset out of turn 2 there. They'll stay the side-by-side battle, and then turns 3 and 4. 51 with an advantage with the 32. Back end skewing out. That's allowing some of these drivers to make headway here on these two. Look at Brett Bennett further back here. Is he showing his nose here on the 31? 31 really drives it in on entry, trying to get back to that 51 machine. Further back here, Luca Torcati around. And he parked the machine, but caution will wait before he gets it off the track. Take a look and see what happened to Luca here further in the back. See him battling with the 71 of Jake Richmond. Jake had a really good run last week from Homestead. Podium spot finish for him. And the 36 just loose out of turn 4. KOs the outside wall there. And then toes. But unfortunately not in time. Caution will wave here from Bristol one more time. Our third or fourth caution for incident. The 66 still leading us. I'd love to talk to your race leader. I do not see him in a VC. Oh, I do see in a VC. P2 driver here. Bryson Bird. He's driven his way up to P2. See if we can talk to him up here in the booth. Hey, Bryson, it's Christian up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, you've worked your way up to P2 here. Obviously, started back there in 4th. Obviously, out of these, Firebird Motorsports drivers, you've been the best of the rest right now. Obviously, we've seen your teammate, Wyatt, work his way up inside the top 10 for a brief moment, and then obviously we saw Dane get caught up in a couple of wrecks here. But obviously, up here in P2, how's the car driving? How's the race been for you so far?
Car feels pretty good to me. Back there in traffic, I hear some guys complaining, but I'm handling pretty well up here in the cleaner air. Just mainly focus on the fuel right now because we all only have about 30 laps left in the tank. So but we don't want to pick, so we don't want to go back there and die. So it's just a toss up, but I feel like I can win the race if we just keep it out of trouble. So we'll just see what happens here.
And is that also, like you talked about, not wanting to go back into chaos and the mess there? Is that something you have to keep in the back of your mind there on top of the fuel strategy of like, hey, if I go back there, there's a chance that I get caught up in this mess and I don't even have a shot there? Is it more of attrition versus actually strategy at this point?
Yeah, because it's like I don't really care to pit for tires. It's mainly just I don't want to go back there. But at some point when I get low on fuel, I'm going to have to pit. But yeah, that's the plan right now.
We're getting ready to back go green here. We appreciate your time and wish you good luck here the rest of the race.
All right, thank you.
Bryson Bird will start P2 here on this restart. Appreciate his time up here in the HVTV booth, giving us some insight. So only about 30 more laps on fuel here for these drivers. So sooner or later, some of these leaders are going to have to come back down. We've seen, a handful of drivers who did come down 25th on back, but if we continue the stretch of green here, if we somehow get a green flag run here, 30 laps is all it's going to take. Back to green flag. Joseph Madigan, pedal to the metal here, turning up the gears here into turn 1. Get a 66. Starting to get away a little bit here from the rest of the field here. We do apologize for no sound here on the sim. Got done with our post-race show last week from the Sachs Cup Series. Obviously, we usually mute the audio there for the post-race show, but we should have it fixed now here on lap 45 here. We apologize for that. Do some battling further back here. Side-by-side action outside this top 15. Oh, you see the 21 up and outside wall. Nathan Caldwell made a little bit of mistake there. Got to get the momentum backed up there. You see him side-by-side with Dane Cruz here for the P20 position. And Dane, someone who's going to be really aggressive to get back to the field here. Probably one of our better drivers here in the field. Needs to be a little bit patiently aggressive, right? He knows he's got a fast car. You see the 56 of Enriquez up and outside wall. Going to lose a couple of spots there. You're going to see him 3 wide there with Acuna there. Up and outside wall once again. That's something you cannot afford to continue to do. Make mistakes. Put yourself in a spot there because now you're in the back again. It's him to 56. Every time he's in this backpack of the field here, he's gotten caught up in something. The only way to get it, and we heard from, Bennett here at the start of the race. We talked to him. The only way to get away from the carnage is really be ahead of it. Oh, the 71. Richmond really upset there. What a save by the 71. He's only going to lose, by the looks of it, maybe 1, maybe 2 spots. You do still see that damage is, wrecking further in the back. Caldwell, again. Wrecking further in the back. I think that caused a chain reaction further back there. Some car stop back there. Matt Steiner. 91. As these guys got to be careful. As here comes the leaders. They're going to have to just stop here. Look further back here on the replay. See what happened. I think that all started with the Caldwell machine. And then this kind of just accordion further back here. Yeah, and just Matt Steiner. And then it's hard, right? From Bristol to see when a wreck is coming. See if we can go from an outer point of view here. See the 38 checking up here. He sees the wreck. Out of turn 2. Out of turn 4, my apologies. Just kind of gets dumped around here by the drivers behind. Because these guys can't see the wreck, right? They don't expect the checkup here unless someone calls it out, right? And unfortunately, these guys go around in the back here. They'll probably go laps down, I believe, here. Yeah, it looks like Matt Steiner, Watermullen, Randall Payne, all those guys get trapped a lap down after, kind of spinning themselves around here after the caution waves. Yeah, we apologize that. And thank you, Sarah, for the confirmation. Yeah, like I said, for our post-race show for the Sachs Cup Series, we usually mute the audio so we can hear the drivers' interviews a little bit better. Unfortunately, we forgot to turn it back on, so we do apologize for that at home. But we appreciate everybody for coming in, chatting it up in the chat. If you wouldn't mind sharing the broadcast, getting some more, viewers on in here to continue to support your favorite drivers. We'd really appreciate it right now. But we do appreciate the 17 concurrent viewers watching at home and anybody watching over on High Velocity TV or over at twitch.tv/ChristianBoss13. The caution will wave here once again here on lap number 53. And now the strategy is, do you come down pit road and take that fuel? Maybe take those tires. It looks like Matthew C. White decides he's going to take the gamble. And he will lead those drivers who have pit. He'll be sitting back here in P17 currently. Hasn't cycled out yet. If he crosses the line here, it should fix itself. Yeah, looks like he'll sit P16. Now, granted, there are a couple people who have pit already, like Javier. He's going to jump up probably a little bit of spots here. He came down and played that last caution, so good strategy call for Javier to get some track position here. But getting ready to go back the green here. Oh, lights back on the pace car. I think not everybody was caught back up here. They want everybody to get sorted out here before we get ready to go green here. And that's something I do appreciate here out of the ARC guys. They're willing to, delay the caution to make sure that everybody's lined up the way they need to be, so no one's getting penalized, no one's getting anything done wrong. To make sure that everything looks proper, prim and proper, right? And to make sure that, we don't get any wrecks here from people just trying to get around other people. So I really like that they're willing to do that. Just pace just another lap. I feel like that's not a hard ask, honestly. Go one more lap to make sure everything looks fine. do a graphics reset here as we get ready to go to 1 to green here. Say hello to everybody in the live chat. Say hello to Leif Opstead, one of our trusted mods here on the network. Big supporter of the network for a while. We appreciate him for all he does here. If you guys haven't seen, Leif Opstead was on a podcast recently. So good for him. It looks like it's gonna be Madigan Bird back across the stripe here, back green. Madigan with another great jump here on the restart. Gonna look for a side-by-side battle here for P2. Bryson Bird tries to hold on there. Looks like he will get clear, but here comes the 11. Jimmy Cocker in that Virginia Tech Toyota Supra. Gonna look to the top side of this 31 machine. Gonna try to build the momentum. They're trying to make this battle side-by-side. Try to get clear here for this third place spot here. We go through 3 and 4. Caution. Brett Bennett around in the back. Looks like Diego Acuna caught up in this. Diego's been caught up in a couple incidents this race. Not the race I think he wanted to have here. Further back here. 6 can use up the tractor a little bit. And he just loses it on his own there. And then what happened to Diego? Was he just slower off the pace here? I think maybe he was just off the pace there. Maybe he got caught up in something else earlier that wasn't the caution. See him navigate around the wreck there. So another caution here on lap 60. We had a little bit of a green flag run there for, not a couple of cautions ago, but unfortunately the caution bug might have hit the ARC Pro Series drivers. Some drivers down pit side there, including the 66 of Joseph Madigan, your race leader down pit side here for the first time. So he'll give up the race lead here for some fresh Goodyear tires. Obviously we'll top off on that Sunoco ethanol fuel. Off he'll go. Did a race off pit road there, further back. Brett Bennett out of pit road. See the 21 of Caldwell. Further back there, I believe that's the 94 potentially. 91. The race off pit road. The race off to Pete the pace car. Two of Acosta as well. Gets off in time. Say, at least on the lap he's on, I believe Carlos might be a lap down or so. We'll see. He is 3 laps down, so fortunate. We do have, looks like 29 cars still on the lead lap. Tail end of that lead lap will be Oscar Enriquez, Randall Payne there, 28th and 29th. But a little bit of a change up here towards the front of the field. Still Bryson Bird here going to be on the front row. But instead of that 66 of Madigan, you saw him come down pit road, take some fresh tires, top off on some fuel. So that'll allow Joseph Smith, that 31, to jump up to that front row. And then it'll be the 11 of Jimmy Cocker, the 67 of Robbie Throop there, going to be your fast forward as we get ready to go green. You see the lights off on the pace truck. Most laps led by the pace truck. I wouldn't fight you on that statistic tonight. Whichly, like I said, I think the caution bug has potentially hit these ARC drivers. Granted, Bristol's not an easy track to get around here, especially with 40 other drivers tonight, but I'm gonna have to get through it here. But it's gonna be Bryson Bird, Joseph Smith, back in the Echo Park restart zone. Back to green here. Bryson Bird up through the gears here, going through 1 and 2. The Gawker tried to get clear. The 31 of Joseph Smith, a huge one off the top side. Gonna try to keep that battle side by side through 3 and 4 into 1 and 2 here. Joseph Smith hanging tough on the top there, but Cocker not giving up here. Still looking inside of this 31, trying to make something happen. That outside momentum, I think, going to build better for that 31. He'll get clear for P2. Here comes the battle from Jackson Jones in that 94 for that P3 position. Jackson Jones, Jimmy Cocker side by side through 3 and 4. Jones for P3. Caution. Jake Scarborough, a couple car wreck there. You see the 27. Will Wilson involved. Jake Scarborough, Randall Payne potentially got caught up in here. Caution will live once again here on lap 67. See Jake up here looking at the top side of the 25. Of Aiden Neese. And oh man, 27 around here. Nowhere to go for Jake. See if we could find out what happened to Cole Wilson. If he just lost it on his own, or maybe some extracurricular activity. Yeah, the 71 off the wall there. Gets the side of the 27 and nowhere to go for Jake. He'll plow into the side of the 27 there. Jake, lots of damage on the front end here. That might be race ending damage for Jake, unfortunately. Not the race he wanted here for Bristol. That hood barely still attached there on the 77 machine. It's holding on for dear life there. All the hood pins are completely broken off there. Jake goes too fast. He's probably going to not be able to see here in a second. Back to live action here. Jake Scarborough. Flipping this car down pit side. We'll see if this is race ending damage for Jake. Well, he gets the hood put back on it. But I do see a meatball for Jake. Meatballs don't mean that the race is over, though. He just is forced to sit down and take the damage, and I assume there's going to be quite a bit there with the smoke billowing out of that 77 machine. Some more strategy underway here, so it looks like the 53 of Bryce the Bird decided he had to bite the bullet here. Come down, take some top off fuel. I guess that's the most you could go there. Right now, we did hit that 30 lap mark. You said you can only go about 30 more laps, and now it's around lap 40, 45, right? So we are to lap 70, and it's about 30 laps. So the math checks out here. Jackson Jones will inherit your race lead. He'll lead his first laps here from Bristol once we get ready to go green. Alexander Levi, though, one of the drivers who are trying to stay out as long as they can. 46 laps on this stint. He'll take the outside front row. But how long can this 43 go? I mean, he's going to need a caution to have him do anything. But unfortunately, most of the drivers have already come down pit road there. So, I mean, he can't have a ton more laps. He's definitely the worst on fuel. Speaking of worst on fuel, Dan Cruz. That can't be right, because he hasn't come down pit road at all. Well, regardless, he'll start P3. You'll see those two Firebird Motorsports machine back there, second to third on the bottom side. Back to green here, Jackson Jones. Is Reckon in the back? Caution. And oh man, this is going to be the big one. I think that was Charlie Bennett, the driver who got around there on the restart. Take a look. Got the bumper from Matthew Chastain. He kind of comes down into the 42 of Wyatt Robertson. Nowhere to go for a lot of these drivers that you see, a plethora of drivers. The 47 to 06, 77, the 71, the 14. So many drivers caught up in this one. I wouldn't say that was really Charlie's fault. I mean, he just kind of got driven through in the 1 and 2 by the 28. Tried to catch it and just kind of couldn't do anything there. It was already too far gone for the 01 machine. I imagine you'll see quite a few drivers. See the 47, AJ Nickel. Some damage on this 47. Could be worse. Come down here, get some damage fixed here on his car. You shot the AJK Designs here, big partner for the league. Obviously, co-founder of the ARC merge here, working side by side with Jake to get this merge put together. And obviously, we've seen a big influx in the driver count, a big influx in the viewer count here on the broadcast, and we appreciate it. So we appreciate, I don't know where we'd be here if this merger didn't happen, but I think everybody involved is very appreciative of what has been able to come down here and with the merger and just the growth that this league has had, the growth that the network has had, just all around our growth and from everybody, all parts involved here. See the 38 of Matt Steiner having to give these spots back up. Currently, Matt 1 lap down, still trapped that. He is the first car lap down, but still trapped a lap down nonetheless. We should get the 1 to green this time by. So we're checking with our in-race reporter here, Diego Acuna. 3 laps down here. Not the race that Diego wanted. Get the stats here for Diego. Got up inside the top 15 once, but not what he wants to see here in his couple of part-time starts. You see the lights off on the pace truck. We get ready to go back green flag racing here to start lap 80. We've just eclipsed the halfway point there on lap 75. Going into the second half of this race here. Gonna be Jackson Jones, Alexander Levi, Wyatt Roberts, Dan Cruz, the 2 teammates rounding out that row 2, but Jackson Jones back to the start here, going into turn 1. Wyatt Roberts with a great run off of turn 2 on that top side. He'll retake the P2 spot. Looking hungry here for this race lead. All over the back end of this 94 machine. How patient is Wyatt going to be here? Looking in the inside here for the race lead, side by side across the line. Give the lap to the 94, but Wyatt all over the back end of this 94 here. Try to take the race lead away. Here comes the 89 of Jamie Wright here for P2 as well. He's driven his way up through the field once again. Man, it's 94 not giving it up easy, though. Wyatt Roberts have to fight hard here on this bottom side to try to retake this lead. But that 94 just gets such a good run off the top. I think Wyatt got the lap there, but not going to secure the lead quite yet here in the 1 and 2. You see a little bit of damage on this 42 machine. Maybe that's interfering with the ability to make the pass for the race lead here. Here comes Jamie right into the mix here. A little bit of contact with him in the 94. Now where does Jamie go? Looks like he's going to go to the bottom with Wyatt. Wyatt should be able to get up here clear for the race lead. Barely. He'll take it here, but here comes Jamie right to the bottom side. Jamie with the fresher tires here. And he take the battle to the 42. Wyatt leads that lap, but Jamie fighting hard on the bottom side. Wyatt doing a good job building that momentum off the top. But Jamie's inching closer and closer to this race lead. Jamie really driving it in off the corner there. Gonna use up that 42 just a little bit. Wyatt still holds on. Jamie to the race lead now. He'll put a little bit of a slider here, and he'll secure that P1 position for now. You'll see the battle for P2. 94 into 42. The 94 gonna lose a spot there, trying to be cordial with the 42. Here comes the 43 of Alexander Levi. He's up to P3. Look further back here to Dan Cruz. Has not come down pit road yet. Somehow holding on to a top 8 spot. Here comes Ukalone there in that 22, though. Going to try to take it away. Enrique, really good comeback here. He's driven his way back up inside the top 10. Going to try to get around some of these slower guys to see if it'll maybe in right there in the mix here. Ooh, a little bit of contact with the outside wall. I think that's Soto. In the 95, that is. So he's worked his way up inside the top 6. Further up there, Alexander Levi, biggest mover right now out of these drivers up here. Adele actually up 26 spots where he started. Someone slowly sneaking his way back through the field here. Look at that 66. Joseph Madigan. And it's stuck behind some slower cars right now. Up inside this top 6 battle. Right now he just kind of stuck behind these drivers going side by side. Nowhere for him to go right now. With that said, that's a lot to be right. Start to pull away here as they race side by side for P2 on back. Amy Wright is starting to get away here. Just over a second gap back to the rest of the field. He's still the battle on 4th here. People starting to get a little bit, they go foul right now. Madigan still trying to maneuver his way around some of these guys here. And use that top side to get around the 40 of Fabian. He will. I'm going to have to maneuver around the 95 of Soto. What a move there. Top to bottom here. He'll clear the 95 going into 3. Madigan hungry. Madigan looking fast. He takes the last rung of the podium. Looking quick there, trying to run down that 94. How hard does Jackson fight him? Pulls over. But if you're going to pass me on the bottom. I don't think that's going to be very hard for Joseph here. Not going to be able to get quite clear, though. Jackson not going to just hand it over. Fortunately, I think he's going to take it, though. For Joseph up to P2. And now it's Jamie Wright with about just over a second gap back to the 66. Joseph trying to go back to back here for Bristol. It's 50 to go. Further back here, battles ensuing. Lonnie Roberts falling back here. Enrique got around him. Now his teammate and Bryson Bird and around that 42 machine. I wonder if that damage has really affected that 42 that much. You see all these Firebird machines with some damage outside of maybe that 87 of Dane Cruz here. Dane. Trying to find him on the scoring platform, and I see him up the track there. I don't see him. This isn't a battle for position, I don't believe. Dane there in the 57 up the track there. I think he might be a lap down or so. Yeah, a lap down. I think he finally had the, yeah, he came down pit road finally and not go the rest of the way here. But the issue is he's got freshy tires, right? Now, can he go and unlap himself and try to unlap the field here in 46 laps, right? That's the question. He should be more than okay on fuel. Does he have the pace to go back here, unlap himself, and drive through the rest of the field here? I would say it might be possible, but we have a 40, well, now we have what? I would say 30 cars on the field tonight. Can he go and navigate around 30 cars to retake the race lead? I don't know if that is possible with 40 to go. And he's definitely quicker than Madigan. And Madigan, I mean, he's been slowly chipping away at this lead. If you're Dane, you cannot hold any prisoners here. You just got to go. By Alexander, he's dropping through the field here. As he's coming down pit road, he can't make it on fuel. This was a gamble that these drivers had to make. He's trying to stay out, hoping for a caution. Now he's going to go at least a lap, maybe 2 laps down here. Having to come down under green. And now the leaders have caught lap traffic. Dane Cruz trying to navigate through these slower cars. And I mean, this is the hardest part here at Bristol. Navigating the lap traffic, because in real life, I feel like there's a gentleman's code of like everybody hold their own lane and the lap cars go in the bottom, lap cars go top, and we'll pass you in the way. But for a lot of these drivers, I don't think they understand where they need to go here to let the leaders by, right? And that's where the crashes happen, right? See Dane Cruz getting back on the lead lap here. Actually, no, it says now he's 2 laps down. I'm so confused because it just said he was 1, now he's down to 2. But he just did unlap himself from Jamie Wright. I was surprised to see him only 1 lap down there. So this would make sense. So I think Dane needs a caution or something to go wrong here for him to be in any fight here now as the timing and slowing resets. Back up front, Jamie Wright. He's gotten ran down by the 66. The 66 has slightly fresher tires, but just I think that 66 is just a little bit better in general than this 89 is right now. See the 89 slip off of turn 4. And again, looking bottom. So you see that 89 running the top here, trying to play a little bit of defense. I don't know how much of the broadcast that Jamie's been watching or if he's been watching his rearview mirror, but you cannot go to the top side, really high side here. Try to defend here. But you saw as soon as you go to the very top, that 66 will just drive in and kind of pull a slider on you. And now the 89 is doing a really, really good job. Kind of staying in that middle, trying to keep this 66 side by side here. But once again, the 66 slowly inching closer and closer to this lead. That's exactly what I said that you really don't want to do here, because now look, Madigan with an advantage here. Nose to nose. Going into turn 3, I think the 66 will clear. Caution will wave though. I think Madigan gets it here. And caution will wave. All under green flag pit stops as well. I'm trying to see who maybe it was. then maybe Randall Payne in the 14 potentially might have been a culprit to this, but take a look and see. And Randall was letting people by, though. Maybe someone accidentally put the bumper to the back of him or something. Oh, man, it was the 47. Of AJ Nickel. Kind of lost it here. If you got any help. He was fighting with Ty McIntosh here further back. Trying to maneuver through the lap traffic. I just drove it a little bit too deep into the corner entry there. A loser right there. That's the only thing I can imagine being a caution here. But I'll slow everybody back up here. I'll allow everybody to come down pit road. That also traps a lot of drivers a lap down here. So it's going to be 17th on up. The only drivers on the lead lap. 18th on back. Trapped a lap down there. Matt Steiner, the first drivers of these lap down people. I mean, Matt Steiner, Brett Bennett, Alexander Levi, Dane Cruz a lap down. I think Dane might have stayed out here and took the wave here to go a lap, to get back to one lap down. Now it's a free pit stop for all these leaders here to come down and do something. Look at this, Aiden Neese. He's one of the people who took the gamble here. He's going to get a huge advantage here. He's going to start up there in P2. Dane Cruz up here. All these drivers getting their wave around. Now we'll cycle everybody back to 66. Joseph Madigan. We welcome everybody back here to the last great Coliseum here, Bristol Motor Speedway. We're ready to go back green here. 27 laps to go when we hit the stripe right there. We appreciate everybody for coming out and watching tonight's broadcast. Who do you think is going to be the driver to get it done tonight? Will it be this 66 or Joseph Madigan? Could it be someone further back there? Look at Oscar Enriquez. Look at Enrique Cucalone further back there. And they maybe stick their way up to the front here. Steal the win away from one of these drivers up front. Pace truck will hit back off and back into the Echo Park restart zone. Madigan up through the gears here, back into turn one. Neese will take P2 there pretty solidly. Does Neese have anything? He's going to be loose out of the turn four. Wreck it in the back. Ty McIntosh got the outside wall there. And oh man, more drivers piling in. That's the 40 Fabian there. Gosh, what a wave once again. The 51 a tie. Oh, I got the bumper. Put to him by the 59 there. Of Churi. And Fidel. A little bit of contact to the back of the 91. Joshua once again wave here for Bristol. We'll see some more drivers come down pit side here. Diego coming out of his pit stall there. Trying to manage anything out of this race right now. He is one of a couple of drivers that are trapped 2 laps down. Looks like 4 drivers stuck on the 2 lap down mark, and then about another 4-car battle here for the lucky dog here. Fidel Fabian, Alexander Levi, Matt Steiner, Dane Cruz, the last drivers here, battling for this lucky dog position here to give himself a chance to improve their finishing positions here. The light should go off here on the pace car. See the 51, Ty McIntosh. Wave around the pace car here. There'll be another reset here. 66 of Madigan. And the 25 Vane Nice. He takes that front row spots once again in that scratch kitchen. 25 Ford Mustang. There'll be 2 former teammates rounding out that row 2 with Bryce Bird and Enrique Cuculone. And then you'll see the 71, Jake Richmond. He's worked his way up inside the top 5. We've seen him in a couple of incidents tonight as well. But look at him battling back up here inside this top 5 here. And as we get the go back to green here, it'll be 20 to go from the last great Coliseum here in Bristol, Tennessee. Be a little bit of damage on that 71. See how it drives here, up here in the clean air with the track position here. You look at Bryce Bird. A little bit of lead front damage on him. You see a right rear damage. Like I would say, like 3 of the 5 cars here up here in the top 5 have damage. So see how that affects them. But pace car back down pit road, back into the Echo Park restart zone. Madigan back into the gears. We get ready to go green here with 20 to go from Bristol. Another great restart by that 66 machine, and caution away once again. 31 to Joseph Smith around in the back. And the caution bug has definitely hit these drivers here for Bristol. No doubt about it in my mind. We're having in this 31 here. I had to check up with the 56 of Enriquez. Got in the back of the 89 and the 18 of Ronbaum. Just get to the back of the 31 there. Nothing really that Joseph Smith could have done there. He'll stop it here in the middle of the track there. Everybody tries to navigate around the stopped car. Caution once again waves here from Bristol. Yeah, I think it's about a 9 through 10 caution tonight, Camel Camping, my apologies. Yeah, I mean, that's just Bristol, though. Like, I don't know if a lot of you guys in the chat have the sim and have experienced racing here at the last great Coliseum, but it is tough. Especially here in these O'Reilly machines, it makes it even tougher because these things do not like to turn, and they also like to spin out if you get in the gas too early, right? And obviously, you've seen the contact does not really play well here at Bristol like it would. Like you'd see in the trucks, like you see in the next-gen car, right? These cars are so much more delicate when it comes to contact and aero and all that stuff. But when you put 40 drivers out on track, it just amplifies everything, right? Because there's only so much room you can go here at Bristol. It's not a wide super speedway. It's not even a mile and a half, right? You have maybe maybe two lanes here at this track that you can go and race side by side, right? And with 17 to go, under 20 to go now, the patience is going to start to run out. But we do appreciate everybody coming in and stopping in throughout the broadcast tonight. As we peak like 20 concurrent viewers, let's see if we can get that number up, everybody. It was 16 to go. So it's going to be a 15-lap dash here. What's going to be Madigan? Lead this back to green. And another good jump by there, by the 66. And the inside line did not get going. Aiden Neese in that 25. Really bad jump by him. You're going to have to cycle around him. See the 22 of Enrique. He's moved his way up inside the top 3. Bryson Bird up at the second place spot. He said he had a winning car if he could get back up to that 66. He's got 14 laps to get back to him. And he can get it done here tonight from Bristol. Caution! Jacob B. Davis around here in the back. This Pepsi machine. Jacob B. Davis here. Hooks himself off the nose of Diego Acuna. I think maybe he thought he was clear. Fortunately, Jacob was not. The caution will wave once again here, and we'll stack him back up. One more time. We will sack him up one more time. So we'll be going underneath 10 laps to go when we get back to the green flag here. Joseph Madigan. Dominant performance here tonight from Bristol. He looks like 60 laps led with the 66 machine. Man. He's been on a roll. Won last week from Homestead. Looking like he's the favorite to win tonight here from Bristol, but he's going to have to get through that 53 of Bryson Bird. Bryson said he's got a car that he thinks he can win with. He just needs a shot to do it, right? And these cautions are not working in that 53's favor. We'll get back ready to go green here with the 9-lap shootout. Will be Madigan. Bird back to the stripe here. Back green here. 9 laps to go from Bristol. Bird with a good jump. Bryson Bird. Joseph Madigan here. 8 to go. Going to 7 to go here for Bristol. Does Bryson have anything up his tricks of sleeves? He's gotten within this 2/10 of a mark. Cannot get further. Cannot get closer. See Bryson a little bit better on entry. But you see that number 66 starting to pull away on entry. On exit, I mean. Bryson trying to move around here. Trying to find some grip. Trying to find some pace somewhere else here on the track. You see that 66 starting to slowly but surely pull away here with the race lead. Joseph Madigan trying to go back to back here. Does Bryson Bird have anything left in his bag of tricks? 4 to go here for Bristol. Joseph Madigan starting to pull away here from the rest of the field here. Bryson just does not have the car to keep up with this 66. Maybe the damage starting to show its age here for that 53 machine. You'll see Madigan back out of turn 3 and 4 to get the penultimate lap here. And the last great ticket 150. Further back, you see Aiden Neese. Looks like he's gonna hold on to a P3 finish. Gonna have to hold on here. But here comes the 89. Of right. Gonna try to take it away here. But nothing is gonna take this win away from Joseph Madigan. Just 2 more corners to go here. And he's gonna go back to back here from Homestead as you see him out at turn 3 and 4. Joseph Madigan back to back here as he's gonna get the last great ticket 150 here for the last great Coliseum. Bryson just had nothing for the 66 here at the end. A little congratulatory bump. And man, what a roll this 66 has been on. Did not have a great finish at Daytona. But not already showing that he might be a force to be reckoned with here the rest of this season 7. As he goes back to back here early in season number 7. See the 66 continuing to burn it down here. We'll see him try to find his way to victory lane here. I don't think we have victory lane loaded in here, so it looks like he's just going to be floating on an invisible barrier here. We might actually try to see if we can load it in real quick here. So we're going to go ahead and pull up our thumbnail so it looks a little bit more realistic for you fans at home. I don't think we're going to get it, actually. Unfortunate to see that, but go ahead and pull up maybe a replay here. We'll get ready to talk to your race winner tonight here from Bristol Motor Speedway. See if we can get Joseph up here in the HVTV booth. While we wait on everybody, we're actually going to take a quick commercial break here to get ready to talk to your top 3 finishers. Obviously, we congratulate Joseph Madigan going back to back here from Bristol, but we'll be right back here on the flip side after this quick commercial break.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
As we welcome everybody to the post-race show here for the ARC iRacing Pro Series here from Bristol Motor Speedway, the last great Coliseum, as we once again just saw Joseph Madigan go back to back here from Bristol Motor Speedway. We get ready to start your post-race show. Still waiting on your top 3 finishers to join the waiting room. So we'll go ahead and take a look at our unofficial race results here from the last Great Ticket 150. Look at Joseph Madigan, Bryson Bird, Aiden Neese, your top 3 here going into post Bristol. Look at Jamie Wright, P4. Enrique Cucolone, a good top 5 run for him, as well as Wyatt Roberts. That's a really good turnaround for Wyatt. Didn't have the best Homestead race, definitely didn't have the best Daytona race. So a good turnaround for Wyatt. Now P6 spot, you look at Jimmy Cocker, Jake Richmond, Richard Cheery in his debut here at ARC Series. Back there in P9 and rounding out the top 10. Alexander Levi in that number 43 machine. Look further back here outside the top 10. Joseph Smith, he got caught up in a wreck those last couple cautions. He drives his way back up inside the top 15. Brett Bennett, Oscar Enriquez, Ryan Ronnebaum, Dane Cruz, your top 15. Look at Robbie Throop, Andrew Sanford, Tyler Watermullen. Will round out your lead lap drivers and nobody else. Laps down or further back. Matt Steiner back there in P19 and Javier Soto back there in 2020th. Look back here outside the top 20, Jackson Jones, Diego Acuna, and Randall Payne. 2 laps down for those 3 drivers. You look further back there, 3 laps down, AJ Nickel in that 47 machine. Everybody else here, multiple laps down. Shane O'Neill back there in 25th. Ty McIntosh out early there in 26th. Nathan Caldwell, Jacob B. Davis, Fidel Fabian, and Carlos Acosta. And that's your top 30. Look for that out here. The last of your 40 drivers tonight here at Bristol, Matthew C. Wyatt. Looked like he had a lot of potential tonight. Got caught up in an incident there. Charlie Bennett, Jake Scarborough, Cole Wilson, Luca Turcati, Preston Salmon, Matthew Chastain, Noah Brown, and Ian Jesus DeFarlo round out your 40 car field tonight. Still waiting on our top 3 people to join the waiting room here. We'll take a look and see if we can find them. And there they are. See if we can go ahead and talk to your race winner tonight here. 66, Joseph Madigan here up here in the HVTV booth. Hey Joseph, Christian up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Sir.
Well, first of all, congratulations back to back here. One at Homestead and a kind of a green white checkered opportunity to be here tonight here, leading 70 of 151 laps. Didn't need a green white checker, didn't need anything, right? Led the most amount of laps tonight. Just showed a lot of pace tonight in that 66 machine. Walk us through your race tonight. Walk us through the difference to get you up here in the victory lane once again.
Yeah, just I guess being patient. Didn't have many practice laps. Kind of hopped in late, and kind of powered on the outside to get into second. That kind of set myself up. So just kind of riding behind, figuring out what the car liked, and it was kind of a gamble on pitting, kind of like it was last week, but for a different reason, just because we have such small tanks and small fuel windows that it was kind of just, you don't want to get stuck in traffic and risk getting involved in the big one, but you also want to make sure you jump everybody else. So just got lucky with that and was able to pick our way through traffic. Got a little frustrated sometimes behind some of those slower cars, but we were able to kind of maneuver our way through cleanly and kind of just put us in a good position for the end and to go all out.
Yeah, obviously we saw the 53 try to get to you there at the end. Didn't have enough. Did you know that obviously we saw Bryson have a lot of speed earlier in the race? Did you think that you'd have a little bit more of an issue with that 53 or in those last, 9 laps to go?
A little bit. I mean, he was in my mirror and I was kind of watching him, but after 5 to go, or honestly right after that final restart, I figured it was just all out. So I put everything I had on the table and just kind of drove her in deep every corner, and it stuck. So it got smaller in my mirror every lap. So there was a couple of guys that got kind of stuck in traffic. I thought the 28 was going to be a bigger factor towards the end there. I'm not sure what happened to him. But yeah, no, a lot of fast guys tonight, but I felt like we had the best car overall all through the race. We just needed clean air to show it, and I think we did.
You definitely did a good job showing that. You had by far at least a top 3 car tonight here in that 66 machine, leading 70 laps tonight of the 150. one that we completed. But once again, another congratulations, Joseph. Back to back here from Homestead into Bristol, right? I mean, couldn't really start off a better way out after, that last place finish at Daytona. So congratulations on that. But before I let you go, Joseph, anybody want to thank, shout out, appreciate for tonight's win here from the last great Coliseum?
Oh yeah, just you for putting on the broadcast and ARC Pro Series, Thompson Pipe Group, Madigan Motorsports, that whole effort. And yeah, we'll hopefully see you next week.
We'll be interested to see what you can do next week. But we appreciate the kind words up in the booth, and wish you good luck here in your in your future endeavors up here with the ARC guys.
10-4, appreciate it.
Joseph Madigan, back to back here from Bristol. Go ahead and take the look at your second place finisher, Bryce the Bird. He comes home P2 tonight here in that number 53 machine. We talked to him early in the show, but gonna have to come home bridesmaid tonight here in that Firebird machine. Bryson, Christian up here in the HVTV booth got another copy.
Yep, gotcha.
Well, you're gonna have to come home bridesmaid tonight. You're from Bristol, but showed an incredible ton of pace tonight and a lot of patience to have to drive your way back through the field after having to finally come down pit road with that fuel mileage that you were talking about with us here earlier in the race. Just really not enough to get back to the 66 on that restart. Walk us through, that restart. Walk us through race in general that got you back up to P2.
So I had to pit there, fell back to probably 20 something. And then as soon as we got back going, they had a wreck on the back, and I got, probably 2 minutes of damage from that. That kind of messed me up. So by the time I got back up to the front, I had too much damage, especially in the rear of the car, to where I just drive it into the corner trying to get to the 66, and I just break loose. But and there was one point when we had a long green flag run, I was riding around with the damage, and I was clutching it every corner, and I got to a point where I could make it on fuel, and I think I was the only person that could do that. That was with probably 30 laps to go, so I was hoping it would go green, but didn't. So kind of lost the race in 2 different ways there.
Obviously wasn't meant to be there, I guess. Obviously with the damage and obviously with the fuel mileage that you were just talking about. But obviously, for really your whole team this first couple of weeks, or not the start that any of us expected you guys to have here, but obviously to come home P2 here, get that momentum building. What's that mean, coming out of Bristol?
It feels really good because Daytona, I kind of had a crappy race. I think I finished like 15th with the whole front of the car missing. And then last week, I felt kind of slow. I think I finished 8th, but I was really probably a 16th place car the whole time. So it feels really good to finally get a good result in.
Yeah, you piloted that Firebird Motorsports machine up to P2. You look further back, your teammate Wyatt back there to P6, and obviously Dane not the night I think we expected him to have. Obviously, the kind of strategy bug bit him. He finishes back there in P15, but still a good run for you nonetheless here in this 53 machine. So great job on that. Hopefully, you can build that momentum going into the next week and the weeks on. But before I let you go, Bryson, anybody you want to thank tonight for the run from Bristol?
Shout out to the circumference drivers for always helping out, and shout out to Wyatt and Dane for joining the team, and shout out to y'all for putting on a show in the booth.
Well, we appreciate the kind words up here in the booth, and look forward to seeing if you can build this momentum going forward. But another congratulations on another good run here from Bristol.
All right, thank you.
Bryce the Bird comes home P2 tonight, and we'll talk to the Arctic Esports driver, Aiden Neese. Didn't lead any laps tonight, but put himself in a good spot to get a good finish tonight there in that number 25 machine. We'll go ahead and talk to Aiden up here in the HVTV booth. Hey, Aiden, is Christian up here in the HVTV booth? You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, what a strategy call for you to, kind of flip the strategy to get yourself the track position here at the end when it mattered. Obviously, you're able to hold on to that P3 finishing position there just over that 89 of Jamie Wright. Walk us through your race and walk us through, just the strategy of, having to drive, up 35 spots to get to that P3 position tonight.
Well, I mean, it's just kind of been my thing. It's just I took my time. I mean, honestly, I was giving a lot of things to a lot of the drivers, just taking my time, saving my stuff up. I feel like that should be something a lot of people in this league should do. And that's what I just did. I mean, every wreck was in front of me, and I set my brakes too low a couple of times and almost wrecked myself to avoid it. But truthfully, I mean, the entire race, it was just slow, just one at a time. Don't overdrive the corner. Just go to the bottom, and then we pitted, believe with like 50 laps in, took 2 tires, and originally it sucked because the right sides were completely cold while the left sides were still pretty warm, just really loose. And then after that, as the run was going over, tires heated back up. I think we were one of the best cars on the long run, even with 2 tires. We were just going to the top, making passes, and then with 100 and I think it was 120 to go, 130, caution comes out. Pit roads was open, and so I pitted. I guess I know a lot of people were talking about they didn't have time to pit, but I mean, pit road was open, and so just pitted, took 4 tires. I If a top had enough rubbered in, I'm pretty sure I would have had the win, or at least would have finished second. But just on the bottom, I was just so free. So just once I got to the top, I was able to haul off Jamie Wright and Crocalon. So pretty happy with that.
Obviously, a really good run for you in this whole 25 team. Really, for Arctic in general, didn't really have the best of luck going into Daytona. Didn't have the best of luck at Homestead either. So, what's the feeling of being able to, kind of put this team on your shoulders here, muscle your way up to a podium spot, not only for you but this whole Arctic team?
I mean, pretty good. I mean, I hate it for Joel. I feel like Joel, if let's say Joel's had the same luck as I did, I'm pretty sure he would have won it. I feel like he was way better on the short run than I was on the bottom. I can't say on the top because unfortunately I wrecked out lap one in that first wreck. But when it comes to just the short run in general, I think he would have had it, or at least had it better than I did. Homestead, it just unlucky on really. I mean, I was by myself on that one, and really just got bad luck with a wreck happen in front of me. So right now it's great because we're getting the finishes we needed. But hey, we still got a lot of races left to the chase, so just keep my head down, keep going.
A great mentality to have for you, Aiden. And a good run tonight here from Bristol is going to be a huge momentum swing for you in this 25 top team. So we congratulate you on a good run tonight. But before I let you go, anybody you want to thank, appreciate, or shout out for tonight's run from Bristol?
Yeah, I want to thank Scratch Kitchen by Ghostface Brewing, Parkour Grading, Caterpillar, and RT Sports, Tim Goulet, and Alex for all they do. And my manager said if I didn't win today, I get fired. But I did finish third from starting 38th, so I think we'd be good.
I think you can get at least a 1 week extension for that effort for sure.
Yeah.
But we appreciate your time up here in the HVTV booth, Aiden. We will wish you good luck and let you get out of here to get ready for next week. But we appreciate your time up here in the booth, and I'm excited to see what you can do here in the future here for ARC.
Thank you. Thank you all for broadcasting this.
Thanks a lot. You have a good rest of the night.
Yep, you as well.
Aiden Neese comes home P3 here in that number 25 machine. You see, he started 38th and had to jump up 35 spots from where he started there in that number 25 machine. So what a run for Aiden, and what a way to, get, that Arctic team up off, the floor there. Because obviously, we're used to seeing, Joel go up there and kind of be the leader of the team here. And obviously, Joel getting caught up in a wreck very, very early tonight. I have to end it early. So to see that 25 be able to drive up to the field here, really cool to see there. But obviously, looking here at the 66 machine, Joseph Madigan, won last week in spectacular fashion, and just showed tonight that he was by far probably the best car, if not the second or third best car tonight, and showed up, showed out, got a good. I think he won the pole tonight. No, he got third, in qualifying tonight. Obviously the 51 actually, got the pull tonight, but still a really good result for the 66, and what a momentum swing, right? Just coming out swinging here for the 66, his first, full-time tenure here in the ARC Pro iRacing Series. So what a way to start here, going back to back. So we congratulate Joseph Madigan on his win here tonight from Bristol, but looking forward into the future for the schedule. We'll see where we come to next. We go to the Bourbon Trail 150 from the virtual Kentucky Speedway. So our second 1.5-mile track there, down in Kentucky there. Obviously a track that we don't go to anymore in real life, but obviously still able to come here on the sim and race at Kentucky. Really interesting to see. Obviously Kentucky's one of those kind of one lane track, 1.5-mile track. So it's going to be really about hitting your marks there from Kentucky. So I'm really interested to see how that all comes about. But once again, we congratulate this number 66 machine of Joseph Madigan on another great run here, another masterful run as we get ready to call the night here from Bristol. And what a race to call! Obviously, very caution filled. You know, that's what you expect here from Bristol, honestly. But you look at this 66 continuing to run around here. He gets it done here from Bristol. But once again, we appreciate everybody for coming out and watching tonight's race, tonight's broadcast. We appreciate all the live viewers, all the live chatters. You know, if anything, we've seen the chat rate pick up, and we love to interact with you guys here at home and talk to you guys up here in the booth and make sure that you guys know what's going on up here with the ARC side of things. But be on the lookout next week for the Ice Enough Cup Series as they go to Richmond Raceway. For their fourth week of the season. We look forward to seeing that. But once again, we appreciate it for coming out. If you wouldn't mind dropping a like, sharing the broadcast with friends and family, we'd really appreciate it. But once again, we appreciate it for coming out. And once again, my name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator for tonight's race here for the last great ticket 150. We appreciate it for coming out, and we hope everybody has a great rest of their Friday night. And we'll see you on the flip side here on Saturday for some more Cup racing here on Saturday. But once again, you've been watching an ARC Pro Series production here on High Velocity TV. Hopefully, have a great rest of the night, and we'll see you guys on the flip side.